I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Tuesday, November the 3rd, 2015. A 71-year-old Israeli man was stabbed and seriously injured yesterday evening in the city of Netanya. The terrorist who attacked him is said to be a 23-year-old Palestinian man from the West Bank city of Tulkarem. He was shot by police and said to be in critical condition. The victim was taken to Lanyado Hospital by paramedics and said to be in serious but stable condition. Police also had to prevent a bystander from attacking the detained terrorist. This morning, a terror attack was prevented in the West Bank at the Gilboa checkpoint. An IDF unit searched a Palestinian man at the security crossing and found a pipe bomb and knife in his possession. The man confessed that he was planning an attack and was taken in for questioning. The checkpoint has been the site of several attacks and attempted attacks recently, and later today, Israel's defense ministry shut the crossing down until further notice. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed the ongoing wave of terror during a meeting in Afula and referenced last summer's incessant rocket fire from Gaza. Netanyahu said, "We are currently in a struggle against a wave of terror. Previously, it was rockets, and now it is knives." The Prime Minister said Israel will overcome the current situation as it has done in the past. Israel's Justice Ministry announced yesterday that the country has been selected to join a global task force that fights against the financing of terrorism. The Financial Action Task Force, or FATF, is an intergovernmental body established in 1989 by several countries to combat the funding of global terror and money laundering. A delegation from the FATF is currently in Israel meeting with Israeli officials. The U.S. House of Representatives unanimously adopted a resolution condemning anti-Israel and anti-Semitic incitement to violence from the Palestinian Authority. The resolution states that the recent wave of violence in Israel and the West Bank is, quote, inflamed by statements made by PA President Abbas, other Palestinian officials, clerics, and official Palestinian Authority media, and frequently amplified on social media platforms. It was introduced by Republican Representative Ileana Ros-Lehtinen and Democratic Representative Ted Deutsch, both of Florida. The American Jewish Committee praised the bipartisan resolution for its clear message. AJC Executive Director David Harris said if PA President Abbas truly desires peace with Israel, he needs to take decisive steps to condemn the violence and end the incitement. And staying with the AJC, the global agency presented its Isaiah Interreligious Award yesterday to Archbishop of New York, Cardinal Timothy Dolan, at the AJC's Board of Governors meeting. Dolan was recognized for his, quote, steadfast contribution and ongoing commitment to the relationship between our respective faiths. And last week, the World Jewish Congress held its annual meeting, which took place this year in Rome, where Jewish leaders from across the globe condemned the recent terror attacks against Israeli citizens and urged the PA and President Abbas to refrain from inflammatory rhetoric and from the honoring of terrorists. WJC members urged the international community to, quote, intercede with the Palestinian leadership to ensure the cessation of violence. They also urged a return to direct peace talks between Israel and the Palestinians without any preconditions, saying that a peace agreement can only be reached in bilateral negotiations and not imposed by any outside party. A man who survived the Sobibor death camp and later gave testimony at the Netanyahu trial has died. Thomas Toivi Blat was one of only a few number of Jews to survive the mass escape from Sobibor in 1943. He later served as an important witness at the trial of death camp guard John Netanyahu. Blat wrote 2 books about his experiences. He campaigned for the preservation of Sobibor and often went back there to check on its condition. He was 88 years old and is survived by 3 children and several grandchildren. The Union for Reform Judaism's biennial begins tomorrow in Orlando, Florida. Reform Jewish leaders, educators, and students from across the country will take part in the 5-day conference, contributing to the making of reform movement policy. Speakers will include URJ President Rick Jacobs, Academy Award winner and Reform Jewish inclusion activist Michael Douglas, and U.S. Vice President Joe Biden. And taking a look now at our programming for tonight, Tuesday, November the 3rd, at 8 o'clock, Director of ISGAP, Dr. Charles Small, and Harvard professor Ruth Weiss discuss the nature of anti-Semitism today and ways to defeat it in a globalized world in a program moderated by Rabbi Leah Cohen of Yale University's Slifka Center. At 9 o'clock, senior writer for Facing History and Ourselves, Phyllis Goldstein, talks about anti-Semitism across the ages with Mark Golub on L'chaim. And at 10, noted author and public speaker Rabbi David Wolpe talks about anti-Semitism today. And coming up right after this newscast tonight, Paul Miller of the Solomon Center for American Jewish Thought talks about a lawsuit against Facebook over posts of Palestinian incitement. And Rabbi Arik Asherman describes being attacked by a Jew for helping Palestinians. That's all on tonight's In the News with Mark Golub. And that's the JBS News Update for Tuesday, November the 3rd, 2015. I'm Teisha Bader.